I'm Leonard Elijah,
And I'm Amir Araghi.
and we are the Conscious Cup Podcast. Just as many of us drink our coffee to get through our day, the Conscious Cup Podcast is about filling your soul with a guiding light of energy to navigate you through the week. And on today's show, we'll be talking about forgiveness.
Forgiveness.
We'll go through the grind where we go over upcoming events in the spiritual community, then to filling your cup, where we get into today's main topic, forgiveness. Then to what's brewing, where we take a peek into current state of global consciousness.
Yeah.
And finally, to spill the beans, where we discuss our spiritual task with both you and us with our personal reflection on them.
That's right.
And with that being said, we ask you, what are you filling your spiritual cup with?
All good.
All good.
All good.
We'll get in sync soon.
We're at a new setup, so there's going to be kinks in the first episode, but we are on. It's exciting. We're season 2 officially.
This is officially season 2. We made it.
Season 2.
We want to thank you for riding with us on season 1.
Thank you.
And
big thank you.
We've moved up in the world. We got a new location. As you can see, our location agent came through.
We do, yeah.
Shout out to our location agent. Underpaid, overworked, but you know what? He did what he did. And here we are. Yes. We have multiple cameras now. We have fancy fire. We got fire here. Conscious Cup Podcast.
We actually have heat now. We used to be freezing in the other location. We were out in the woods. Now we actually have fire. We're in the cabin now in the woods.
We're moving up in the world.
To the east side.
So this season is going to be a little bit different. You can already tell we're going to be doing a little bit more stuff. We're going to have some guests on we're really excited about. It's going to be wonderful, and we're really grateful for you guys subscribing, commenting, sharing, liking. Please do that. Again, we appreciate you and the love that you send towards us.
Yes.
And also the folks who I've seen, face to face, who have given me tips how to improve, like slow down when I speak. I will be doing that today. And we'll see how that goes, if it's possible or not.
What do you mean? No, but it's been fantastic. The support, the contribution from others, the comments, the individuals just reaching out, and
the tips.
Yeah, it's just all around.
I'm talking financial tips.
It's been really great. So we definitely appreciate you guys. You're amazing. We do this for you. We're not doing this for any other reason. We are here to, as the name of it goes, we're here to really spread consciousness, awareness, love, because we're all in this together. And so when we get that feedback, it just charges us up. It energizes us. It's put a smile on our face. We love feedback. It doesn't matter. None of you give criticism that is from judgment. So everything that we get, we know it comes from a place of love, because this is love and we get love back. And so we really do appreciate you. So it's exciting. The backs of our head are going to be very warm tonight, but
we're going to see how it goes. We're going to have tea and fire together. We thought the Conscious Cup, we just wanted to warm things up a little bit. As we're heading into winter and the new season, we wanted to move into a spot that was a little bit more comfy. You can kick back, put on your one-piece snuggly outfit.
That's right.
And enjoy the Conscious Cup.
It's getting cold in LA. It's like almost hitting the 70s now.
Amir had to bring in the weather.
Absolutely.
All right. And on that note, we'll be heading to events.
The grind. Let's head to the grind.
So I have 2 events for us today that look promising, look nice. One is called the One-Day Urban Retreat.
Nice.
One-Day Urban Retreat. Now, this is going to be on West Adams, the 3726 West Adams on Friday, November 17th. Friday, November 17th from 8 a.m. to 5:30. It's a full-day urban retreat. It's popular amongst them. They say that it's one of their most popular events. It's rest, relax, reset, recharge. One-day urban retreats are now being held at the beautiful and quiet private Craftsman building at West Adams. The purpose of the retreat is to completely relax, let go of worldly concerns, and connect more deeply with who you truly are.
Nice.
They have breath work, I believe. There's going to be some talks. Yeah, it looks really nice. You can find it on Eventbrite. Check out One-Day Urban Retreat. Tickets are, I believe, $125 a person.
Nice.
And it includes a light breakfast and a lunch as well.
Cool. I love that. I love
Yeah.
when it's all included so that you don't have to break away.
Yeah, this sounds
I
wonderful. I
I
wouldn't
feel
actually be
like
opposed to heading to this with you.
I feel like
It's at the Peace Awareness Labyrinth Gardens.
there's been other ones. There's been other
Yeah.
events that we've had on Grind that have been at the same location, I feel like, because the address
Yes.
sticks out in my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, heading to the next event. The wonderful healing arts in San Fernando Valley. It's called a Day of Healing, Metaphysical and Artisan Fall Fair. So it's a
Mm.
full day fair from 11 to 4. It's free on November 12th. It's in the Tarzana Community and Cultural Center. For our Valley folks, this is for you. Head on out at 19130 Ventura Boulevard on November 12th from 11 to 4. They're going to have all types of stuff there. You're going to be able to enjoy a crystal healing, a drum circle, a sound bath. They're doing a
Nice.
Toy for Tots thing if you want to bring an unwrapped toy,
Nice.
which is really nice, especially during the holiday season. That helps people. There's free parking, lots of good stuff. Again, this is called the Healing Arts San Fernando Valley, and check it out. Looks like a really good thing. A Day of Healing, it's called.
How much is that?
Free.
Free?
Free.
Beautiful. What day?
November 12th.
November 12th. Okay, great. That's fantastic. One other event, we have the Tarab that we mentioned. That is going to be on Sunday, November 5th. Limited spots were almost filled up there. If you're interested, RSVP, reach out to me. You can reach out via the podcast, just leave a comment, whatever it is. If you don't have my contact info, very easy to get in contact with us. So do that. That is essentially for those of you who are not familiar with. It's we get together and in a melodic and musical fashion, we sing poetry, Persian poetry. So it is in Farsi. It is an incredible vibration. And it is not about the music, it is about the poems and is about the messages that are there. And this time, the vibrational frequency of it is actually about rebirth.
Wow.
So
Oh,
all the
awesome.
poems are selected with that vibration in mind. And so the whole point of it is to create this like wave of energy that takes you there. And it really does. They're one of the most incredible nights. And on that note, I got to say, we just had another movie night. Leonard was nice enough to host for us, and it was fantastic. Really beautiful. Just fantastic movie, The Shack.
Yeah, leave
So
a
good.
comment if you were there. Leave a comment there if you were there at the movie club. Just say at the movie event. Just put in the comments below you were there and tell us what you think.
Yeah. And I gotta say, the ones I've done before, I think this amount of people is like the perfect amount of people. It's right around 15 people because it's intimate. Everybody gets to kind of discuss. And the whole point of why like this event is held is because this movie was incredible, but it was also very straightforward. There's also ones that you need to kind of dig a little bit more, but the whole point of it is to be together in an energy. And when you're together, you watch something at a different level because now there's like movement in it, there's feedback in it, there's something you're looking for. And the beauty is in that feedback, in that interaction, you all of a sudden pick up other things that you're like, oh yeah, oh, that's what that meant. Oh, I didn't even notice that. Let me do that. But again, thanks to Leonard for hosting. It was amazing. It was
my
really,
pleasure.
really great here.
It was my pleasure, and it was really an incredible event. Everyone who brought their love and their energy and their care and the laughs.
Yeah.
Thank you for being there. Thank you for coming. My home was buzzing for 2 days with your energy. I did love the movie. I've seen that movie a number of times. If you haven't seen the movie
Yeah.
we're referring to is called The Shack.
Great.
SHACK. Beautiful movie, and it actually is what brought me into today's topic, which we can head into now.
Yeah.
With the
Filling your cup.
filling your cup. The main topic is forgiveness. Here we go. So,
I feel like that exhale summed up the forgiveness in a whole, right? In a way.
it's tough. If
Yeah.
forgiveness is a tough thing, and what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about forgiveness. Now, of course,
Great.
I want your input and
Great.
your
Yeah.
expertise. We're going to talk about forgiveness. We're going to talk about how to forgive,
Mhm.
different methods to forgive. Once we establish how important forgiveness is, because it's bigger than we think, I would say. If you haven't done homework on forgiveness, which many of us haven't, I mean, we all know it feels great to forgive, but it's really, really powerful. And I want to start with a little story.
Great.
Okay.
Love it.
So this guy was on his deathbed. He was a very shrewd attorney. and businessman, and he had made a lot of enemies in his life, and he had a lot of enemies himself. He was enemy to a lot of people, and he was on his deathbed, and it was maybe 15 minutes before he went, and he was like his only son was with him, telling him that it's time to let go and forgive these people and this whole thing, and he took a deep breath at that moment. He was so close to the other side that he forgave himself and he forgave the others. And he had this amazing feeling of elation. It was like ecstasy.
Hmm.
10 minutes later, he passed. He goes to heaven. He's there in life review, this, that. He sees everything, Now it's time to come back. He's reincarnating. He's coming back, and he's at the bus stop, and the guy is there with the metaphorical notepad, and says the clipboard, and he says, "Okay, you're heading back to heaven. What is it you want to learn this time?"
Heading back to Earth.
Earth, excuse me. Yes, you're heading back to Earth. What is it you want to learn this time?
Yeah.
And he says, "Look, last time I forgave everybody right before I passed, but I was only for like 5-10 minutes, and yeah, it was fantastic. But I don't want to feel that feeling for 5-10 minutes. I want to feel that feeling for much longer." So they said, "All right, thank you." He took the notes. He gets on the bus. He comes down. He goes through the veil of forgetfulness, so he doesn't remember why he's here. And he's born. He's born. He's an athlete. He's doing well. He's on his way to college. He's got a scholarship to college. He's got his beautiful girlfriend with him, and he's driving home from a nice date. He's super excited. He's going to be starting the fall semester at USC football program.
Right on.
Right, Victory. And he's just sitting he's just driving through a green light.
Yeah.
It's his right of way, and this drunk driver comes out of nowhere and pummels his car.
Yeah.
Pummels the car, coma. They put him in the hospital. His girlfriend, which he wants to marry, is dead.
Right.
Okay. Right. Becomes a paraplegic, and he is in bad shape. He's so angry. He's like, "I don't understand. I wasn't even drunk driving. I wasn't doing anything illegal. I was going the speed limit. I was just going through the intersection, and boom, now I can't walk. I'm eating through a tube." He's so upset. He's so angry. And he carried this anger with him for 10, 15 years. Now, mind you, he was young when it started. He was only 18.
Right.
He gets to about 25, 30 years old, and he's just tired of being tired. He's just tired of it. And he just forgives. He forgives the drunk driver. He actually reaches out to him and has an opportunity to look at him in the face and forgive the guy. And he feels so great. He feels so great. And he gets to experience that feeling for so much of his life. Now, when he was in the hell of it, he kept saying, "Why me?
Right.
Why me? Why does this happen to me?
Right.
I did nothing wrong.
Right.
I did nothing wrong. I was driving the speed limit, But that is a simple story to understand the power of forgiveness.
Yeah. And it brings in a multitude of different levels, right? The two things in that story that are really powerful is that you are living an experience that you've chosen in some ways, and that choice can become very quickly, right? Like if that person decided to forgive relatively quickly, you would have had a much smoother life.
Huge point. Huge point.
Yeah. Number two, it's a victim mentality, right? If we look at life as a way that it's happening to us, then look, this is really easy for me. Like this is one of those like easiest things. If life is happening to you, might as well kick both your feet up and do nothing. If that's really what you believe, right? Just kick your feet up. And by the way, this goes in the podcast of free will. The third one is that we see things as a very fragmented whole.
Gotta zoom out.
But you don't know. Look, there was a reason that you broke up with that boyfriend, with that girlfriend, with the partner that you had, with the whatever that it was. It's a big picture. Just trust. There's got to be a level of trust.
That guy didn't remember. He went through the veil of forgetfulness, and he didn't remember he signed up for that experience.
That's right.
So you have to zoom out. There's a scene inside the shack where the guy's walking through this garden, and he says, "This is chaotic. This is crazy. All these plants are everywhere. Like no one's taking care of this garden."
Scenes,
And the camera zooms out, and from above, it's beautifully laid out perfectly with these beautiful shapes and spheres and all these things. But it was like from his perspective, it was chaos. But from the perspective of higher, it was complete harmony.
That's right.
So with that being said, forgiveness is implicit in universal love. Forgiveness is implicit in universal love. Forgiving people is powerful demonstration of loving them.
Mhm.
Forgiveness can eradicate karma. Okay, this is a big one. This is a big one. And I'll get into these later, okay? Just giving you the hot topics. No pun intended on the clothing line. Forgiveness is a requirement of peace.
Mhm.
Forgiveness opens the energy flow in the heart chakra.
Totally.
Okay, so now
Totally.
let's go over a few sources. I have a few sources that I wanted to bring to the table about forgiveness. For example, one is the raw material. Love the raw material. I have an episode about life purpose from the raw material that you can check out. We have an episode on it. If you haven't read the raw material, it's fantastic. If you really want to get deep in the raw material, check out Scott Mendelker's work on the raw material. He has over 300 hours of analyzation on the raw material. I've listened to all of it multiple times. It's insanely good. Okay, so in session 18, um, there's a person asking the raw group questions. Okay, so if you don't know what the raw material is, and they ask the questioner says, "You stated yesterday that forgiveness is the eradicator of karma. I am assuming that balanced forgiveness for the full eradication of karma would require forgiveness not only of other selves, but forgiving of self. Am I correct?" And Ra says, "You are correct." And we will briefly expand on that. And what they do is they go into the fact that it's so important not only to forgive the other person, but to forgive yourself. It's universal. It has to be both ways.
100%. 100. I'm gonna kind of stay quiet, but I'm very in the latter group of that for sure.
So he's going to explain a little bit more. But before we go there, the question I wanted to bring this question from a future session where he asked him, "What is karma?" Because it says it can eradicate karma. What is karma? Ross says, "Our understanding of karma is that which may be called inertia. Those actions which are put into motion will continue using the ways of balancing until such time as the controlling or higher principle, which you may liken onto your breaking or stopping, is evoked. The stoppage of the inertia of action may be called forgiveness. These two concepts are inseparable."
Mhm.
Okay, I'm going to read that one more time, okay? What would you define karma? I am Ra. Our understanding of karma is that which may be called inertia. Those actions which are put into motion will continue using the ways of balancing until such time as the controlling or higher principle, which you may liken onto breaking or stopping, is evoked. This stoppage of the inertia of action may be called forgiveness. These two concepts are inseparable. Okay. So now Ra goes on and says, forgiveness of other self is forgiveness of self.
Mhm.
Because why? Pause. Because why? We're all one.
Right.
The whole point of the raw material is called the raw
Right.
material law of
Right.
one. An understanding of this insists upon full forgiveness upon the conscious level of self and other self, for they are one. A full forgiveness is thus impossible without inclusion of the self.
Mhm.
Questioner says, if an entity develops what is called karma in an incarnation, is there then programming that sometimes occurs so that he will experience catalyst that will enable him to get to a point of forgiveness, thereby alleviating the karma?
One more time?
Okay. If an entity, if a person,
Okay.
let's say,
Yes.
a person develops what is called karma in this lifetime,
Okay.
is there then programming that sometimes occurs so that he will experience a catalyst in this lifetime or in futures that will enable him to get to a point of forgiveness, thereby alleviating the karma?
Forgiveness. Okay. I thought you said forgetfulness.
No,
That's why
no,
I was like, wait,
forgiveness.
wait. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Isn't that the
That's
whole
the
point?
questioner.
Right.
The questioner. Ross says this is generally correct. However, both self and any involved other self may at any time through the process of understanding, acceptance, forgiveness, ameliorate these patterns. This is true at any point in an incarnative pattern.
Totally.
Thus, one who has set in motion an action may forgive itself and never again make the error. This also breaks or stops what you call karma. Boom.
Yeah.
Mic drop. Right there. So
Yeah.
for those of us who experience a serious karmic return,
I've been pounding this drum. I don't know if you remember
yeah,
it,
I know,
but
I know,
it's
I know.
it's no, but I'm saying like the other way to look at this is because if you view the universe as a punishing universe, then karma becomes the standard definition of karma. But the whole point of this is that we can call it forgiveness, We can call it by a multitude of, we can call it by responsibility. My highest preference is awareness or wisdom, right? When you absorb that, it's gone because
The point has been learned.
it's
The
not
point has been learned.
it's not about punishment. That's
No,
what
it's
we need
not.
to separate. Like that
That's
idea of
that's a
karma as
judgment.
punishment.
That's a judgment.
100%. But
So here's the beauty of it, right? So we can break that inertia. We can stop that inertia by going to a place of forgiveness. So this is very
Absolutely.
powerful, guys. This is extremely powerful. I mean, I cannot understate it. Okay. Let's go on and we can get back to that in a little bit. Now, further on in the raw material, they talk about life review. Okay. Life review is something that happens after you leave your body. You get a chance to review your life, your actions. You kind of see it all like a book. You get to study it. And there's a lot of information about that. And that may be a different episode, but I want to talk about forgiveness in that aspect. So, Ross says, depending upon this time space locus, there will be certain helpers which assist in the healing process. The process involves seeing in full the experience, seeing it against the backdrop of the mind body spirit complex total experience, forgiving the self for all the missteps as regards the missed guideposts during the incarnation, and finally, the careful assessment of the next necessities for learning. This is done entirely by the higher self until an entity has become conscious in space time of the process and means of spiritual evolution, at which time the entity will consciously take part in all the decisions.
Yep, beautifully said. Straightforward and beautiful.
So even in the process of life review, there's a huge component to be able to move on back into your next incarnation. You have to go through the forgiveness.
That's right. Let's just go back to your initial story, right? The story of the guy who wanted to experience forgiveness. If he steps into forgiveness much earlier on, if he comes into that awareness, life is then wonderful early.
Right.
Like that means it's completely up to you. And the point on inertia, who starts the inertia? If we start it, then we can end it.
Yeah.
We can end it. We finish it. You take it, say thank you, got it, go for it. And guess what? Here's where I know I'm tangenting a touch, but this idea of blueprint in life is also a limiting belief, in my opinion, because that person who said, I wanted to experience forgiveness, what happens is if you quote unquote complete that, then you're in the space of play.
Yes. It's like when you do your homework, right? When you do your homework, now you can go play.
Beautiful example. Beautiful example.
Yeah.
That's right. Beautiful.
So now let's head to forgiveness and Jesus. Fourth chakra. Jesus, according to Ra, is a 4D wanderer who's come back from 4D. 4D has to relate with fourth chakra. All the densities and chakras are related, the green ray, to come to teach the ways of love, which is the fourth ray. So forgiving, in the Christian eyes, forgiving is not optional for Christians. It's a command. In Matthew 6:12, Jesus taught us to pray, forgive us our sins as we forgive those who sin against us. He made it clear that God's offer of forgiveness is inseparable, and our willingness to forgive others is inseparable from it. Now, do you guys like how we're sweating so much? We're drinking hot tea. We got the fire going. You know, we're talking about some hot topics here.
This is how selfless we are for you. We just want a nice background for you while we're suffering. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's all good.
We forgive you for putting us in this position. You know.
Yeah, because you made us do it. No, it's all right.
Going on. When the entity has become able to integrate or synthesize all experience, the entity began to speak to the other selves and teach, learn what it had felt during the preceding years to be in a worthwhile nature. Worthwhile nature.
Worthwhile nature. Okay.
The entity was absolved karmically of the destruction of any other self when it was in its last portion of lifetime and spoke upon what you call the cross, saying, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. In forgiveness lies the stoppage of the wheel of action, or what you call karma.
Beautiful.
Forgiving others for what they have done to us is a reliable test of our faith. Does our faith make a real difference in our life? Forgiving others is not easy. It's not natural. Our natural response is to want to take revenge.
Can I put a caveat on that?
Okay.
I believe that's the state of the mind.
Yes.
Not of the
True
being.
person, of course.
So be really clear on that, because And why I'm just pointing that is because I don't want that for any of us to be a justification. My natural state is then to be no.
It's not your
Your
true natural state.
mind
Yes.
natural state
Yes.
is to be that.
Thank
so
you.
remove that justification. Just all justification needs to go right here.
Right to the fire. But Jesus forgave his enemies who crucified him. Before he died, he prayed, Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they're doing.
Beautiful.
Our spiritual work is about having a personal relationship with God, and God is real and powerful. Then surely he will empower those who trust him to experience the power of his love and forgiveness in their own lives. True peace is unattainable without forgiveness. We all make mistakes, we all cause hurt, necessitating both the extension and seeking of forgiveness. Apologize and asking for forgiveness from those we've hurt can be more challenging than forgiving those who have wronged us. However, with divine guidance, if we choose forgiveness as a life principle, it will steer us towards peace within ourselves and others, and with God. Such peace is a magnificent blessing that God wishes everyone to experience.
Beautiful. It's part of the beauty of the experience. It's part of the beauty of the experience because you feel a freeness, right? You've come through that veil of forgetfulness. You've come into not density of consciousness, literally dense, right? Like there's form. And as you change these vibrations, you begin to feel less and less dense. It's just how it is. Meditation, any of these things just do that. Physically, they make us feel less dense.
All right. So now we've covered some ground with Ra, high 6D information. We covered some 4D stuff from Jesus. Now let's head into forgiveness and the chakras.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, for those who don't know about chakras are energy centers within the body, each having a unique function and associated color. The heart chakra is known as the Anahata chakra. Is sometimes associated with the color green, the fourth ray.
Right.
Now, green ray refers to the energy or vibration that is coming from the heart and is believed to be the center of love, compassion, and forgiveness.
Yes.
Working on opening and balancing the heart chakra is said to help people cultivate these qualities, enhancing one's ability to both give and receive love.
Beautiful.
And forgiveness. Forgiveness is an essential aspect of the chakra because holding on to anger, resentment, and hurt blocks and disrupts the flow of energy, specifically to the heart chakra. When one practices forgiveness, it's thought to clear blockages and allowing love and compassion to flow more freely, promoting emotional healing and a sense of inner peace and balance.
What's the leading cause of death in the U.S.? I'm not trying to put you on the spot. Heart disease.
Heart disease, yes.
Specifically heart attacks. Do you think, and this is a rhetorical question, do you think that this could be related to the fact that we are carrying stress and are not allowing the literal physical component of the chakra that is supposed to be of love, forgetfulness, compassion, empathy is not opened, so it seizes?
Is it forgetfulness? What was the first one?
Forgiveness.
Okay, forgiveness.
Sorry, did I say forgive? Sorry. So these are literally related. We have to stop thinking that things are isolated.
Yeah.
Heart disease is number one for a reason. What was our last podcast about? Order from chaos. The second leading cause, which is extremely close, is cancer. Cancer is chaos. Heart disease is the lack of this.
Yep.
Can you solve those two things? Yes, 100% you can heal those two things. Why don't we focus on energy? Healthcare should be about this. Honestly, the biggest component should be about this.
So Ross says that the green ray is movement through various experiences of energy exchanges having to do with compassion and all forgiving love. All forgiving love.
Beautiful.
Okay, so now we've covered. You have something?
Can I touch on one other thing about the heart chakra that is very... So there are 12 chakras. 7 of them are body-related chakras. 5 of them are beyond the body. We won't go there. Let's focus on the 7. The 4th chakra is literally in the middle. Your 4th chakra is important for a multitude of reasons. The other one that is extremely important about the heart chakra, Leonard did a phenomenal job of describing what it does, is that it is the balancer. It is the balancer. it holds literally and creates balance between your lower three and your upper three chakras, meaning that you then have balance in your life. The top three are a little bit more ethereal, the bottom three are a little bit more physical. It is the heart that holds these in the balance. If you want a visual that's good for you on the heart chakra, imagine two triangles touching each other at the tips, at the apex, and right where it touches is your heart. That's how powerful the heart chakra is.
Yeah, and if you look at the negatives on this planet who are doing service to self, they don't have heart chakra activation. They have fifth chakra, which is wisdom, but they don't have heart chakra activation. And that's the biggest issue, because they use their wisdom to control and manipulate others, but they don't have love to balance that control with.
Right.
you
Right.
know?
So it's really important because that's the one that balances everything. Those people who are well balanced are very present. They're not airy because look, this is not a judgment. This is not about good or bad. But you've also met people who their bottom three chakras aren't necessarily aligned. All they want to do is just meditate and lie down and not eat because the physical world is awful. They just want to leave. Right? Literally, there are monks who barely eat and they meditate all day. No judgment, but that means your lower chakras are also not activated. It's not balanced.
Well, there's activation. It's just there's blockage.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So now we've covered how important forgiveness is, right? We've covered its importance. And now we know that we need to let go, right? We've got to the point now, if you haven't already in this talk thought of something or someone that you need to forgive, take a moment now. Think about it. It's probably already there. You probably already know, but if you haven't, take a second. Could be something small, better yet, if it's something big. Could be something from your childhood. Could be a family member. It could be a situation. It could be a partner, whatever it may be. Could be your children. But there's someone you want to forgive. We now know the importance of it. Okay? I hope you do. A few things to remember about forgiveness before we go into how to let go. You don't have to condone someone's behavior to forgive. Very important. You don't have to condone someone's behavior to forgive. Forgiveness simply allows us to let go of the hold that person has on us, that we're allowing it to have on us. And listen to this. Forgiveness is not the same as forgetting. Not forgetting honors our feelings and helps us to create proper boundaries, so we don't keep putting ourselves in situations that are out of alignment with our true nature.
You don't repeat patterns.
Yes. Okay. So now we understand that. We understand the importance of forgiveness. Now, how do we forgive? How do we let go? Now, I've outlined some different ways to do it. Okay. So pay close attention. These are the ways that I found work and through the research I did as well. Now, I do want to say that these next few things that I'm going to go over, ways to forgive, I collaborated with a chiropractor, Dr. Danielle Devine. She's on Instagram as Dr. Danielle Devine. She's a fantastic person, and I spent some time with her actually doing some of these exercises for myself, for my
Nice.
forgiveness. And it was very impactful. And so she's a collaborator on this as well. And she will be a guest on one of our future episodes. So shout out Dr. Daniel. So one of the ways to let go is pranayama. Pranayama or breath work is a yogic tradition. It's a powerful tool that can be utilized to facilitate forgiveness and promote emotional healing. Pranayama consists of breathing exercises designed to control the breath, enhance concentration, and promote the flow of energy or prana throughout the body. Okay, so here's a step-by-step. Before we go there, you've done pranayama before. I've done it with you.
Yeah.
We did it with Guy, right?
Yeah.
Together. We've done it in other places. I've done it before. I've done big sessions of it that are mind-blowing. I mean, you can really take off with this stuff. There's different levels of it.
It's a reset of the nervous system fully.
I mean, just an idea, for example, is that you need your breath to operate your body, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you can take in enough breath inside that you don't need to use new breath and bring new breath in, that breath, that pranayama, that life force, that energy can actually go into your body and go into the chakras. And as a result, things can get really moving and really opening up really quick. And that's how you can activate the Kundalini. So again, this is not what this is about, but it's really awesome if you haven't done pranayama. So here's some tips on how to do this, okay? Because remember, you're here to do forgiveness. So there's a step-by-step guide on how to use breath work to foster forgiveness. Number one, find a calm space. Very important, okay? Begin by finding a quiet and comfortable space that you won't be disturbed. You are literally doing all this stuff. You can't be, in the middle of it, getting a phone call, or like your son can't come up to you while, there's none of that. So you need to have quiet, private place.
Place
Okay.
of stillness.
Yes. Sit or lie down in a relaxed position, making sure your back is straight to allow for easy breathing. Now, I've also done this laying down before too. It was more intense, but in this case, for this exercise, you want to sit up. Sitting at attention, close your eyes and set a clear intention for your practice. Focus on who or what you wish to forgive. Again, close your eyes and set a clear intention. Focus on who or what you wish to forgive. Now, at this point, allow yourself to feel any emotions that arise, acknowledging them without judgment. Okay. Now we're going to go into the breathing. Okay. Start by taking a deep, slow breath from the tailbone to the crown of your head. Inhale deeply through the nose, hold for a moment at the top, and then exhale slowly through the mouth. Then you're going to do this 4, 7, 8. Okay. The 4 seconds inhale, hold for 7, exhale for 8 seconds. Inhale for 4 seconds. Four, 7, 8. Inhale 4 seconds, hold 7 seconds, exhale for 8 seconds. These breaths should also be from the tailbone to the crown of the head. Now, this 4, 7, 8 breath practice takes you into the parasympathetic state, what's called like a rest and digest.
That's right.
This is where the brain goes into alpha or theta state and is malleable and susceptible to new programming. Now, Dr. Danielle Devine, studied with Dr. Joe Dispenza. And I love Dr. Joe Dispenza. I mean, he's got so much good stuff. And he talks about how people try to change, but they're not in the operating system of the body. So they're like yelling at the computer that can't make a change because they're not in the operating system. And doing the 4, 7, 8 breath practice takes you to the place where you're now in the operating system, where you're much more susceptible to thoughts that can change your life.
It's like pressing Control Alt Delete,
changing the programming you're in writing code now.
Yeah.
Now you're writing code for how you operate. Okay. Visualization. As you breathe, visualize the person or the situation you want to forgive. Pretty awesome, huh?
Totally.
Imagine sending them warmth and love with each exhale. And imagine letting go of negativity and hurt with each inhale. I would love to do? I would love to do a session of this at my place.
Yeah. Yeah, we should do it.
This is great. I can bring her in.
Yeah.
She can come and she can lead stuff too.
Let's do it.
All right. That's great. Look at that. Boom.
Options are
we made
plenty.
a new event. Okay. So you're visualizing the person or situation you want to forgive. You're sending them warmth and love with each exhale. And you're imagining letting go of the negativity and the hurt with each inhale. So inhale, letting go of the negativity and the hurt. Exhale, sending warmth and love to the other person.
This is, for me, I don't know how much more we have left, but I definitely want to touch on this because I think this is the crux of forgiving. Because in the other one you said you shouldn't condone. It doesn't mean that you condone somebody, right?
I was saying
that in that energy that you're
saying the points I started where I said you don't have to condone someone's behavior to forgive.
So I would say it this way, take it however, I'm not saying it's you, take it however you want it. You can't condone. If you condone at all, it means you're not forgiving, period, because there's judgment in it. And this part of what she has laid out here is exactly that.
Well, I laid this out too, just so you know. I had a lot to do with it.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't know.
I'm just kidding.
We don't know, right? Like we've said this in the podcast. I don't know. These are Leonard's notes, so I don't know what has been compiled, what hasn't. But I want to harp on this hard. You cannot forgive somebody and be judgmental towards them. That is not you can't be like, this guy is an SOB,
No,
but
that's
I'll
not
forgive
forgiveness.
him.
There's no forgiveness there.
No,
Yeah.
the whole point of this is that you are truly releasing and you're being empathetic towards them.
Yes.
Because the whole line about what Jesus says, right? Forgive them for they know not what they do,
Yes.
right? Is that they're not in awareness. If you are in wisdom and awareness, you would not behave that way. It
Absolutely.
is just that simple. So what are you going to do? Are you going to go hit a newborn in the face because the newborn can't write a 10-page thesis? That's how ridiculous it is. It has to come from a space of empathy, or else it's not forgive. You're not forgiving. You're just making somebody bad.
Yeah, true. Thank you for bringing that up.
No, thank you. I really want to heart because that's a beautiful part of this. With the exhale, love goes out towards them, towards the person.
Right. Okay, so after that, you're going to be doing your heart-centered breathing, okay? Focus the attention on the heart chakra. Imagine breathing in and out through your heart. Visualize green light representing love and forgiveness at the heart, expanding with each breath. So visualize a green light representing love and forgiveness and at the heart, expanding with each breath.
Mm.
Now, repeat these steps as necessary, allowing the breath to deepen your sense of forgiveness over time. Consistency is key with this, okay? Make it a regular part of your practice to continuously work on forgiveness. This is how you keep it clean.
Beautiful.
Like you clean your car once a
That's
week,
right.
once a month, whatever. You have to go in and make sure you're cleaning out these places where anger, frustration, resentment, and you're not letting go. Now, as you get better and do it more and more, you may have it not hold on as much because
Right.
you realize the value of it.
Right.
Because now your attention is there.
And you become sensitive to it, right?
Absolutely.
Because if you don't know, it's fully clogged. But then when you're really sensitive to it,
Yes.
if there's a pea-sized cloggage,
Just like
immediately
your
you're
house,
gonna
when
hit
it's
it.
super clean and one thing's out of
100%.
place, it's like boom. Okay, now closing the practice. Once you feel a sense of release or peace, gently bring your awareness back to the present moment. Open your eyes. Take a moment to notice how you feel. Now you may choose to journal about your experience if you want to reflect on it. Okay. Remember, forgiveness is a process. It's okay if it doesn't happen all at once.
Mhm.
Okay. Breathwork can be a supportive tool. It also might be beneficial to seek additional forms of guidance or support. Okay. You can talk with a friend or spiritual teacher as well. It's not super easy to do, but it can be done. And this practice is a really big help to do it.
That's right.
Okay. Now I'm going to tell you about what I did. So I did this with Dr. Danielle Devine. We did a breath work and meditation. Okay. Now what I'm going to tell you about is actually a combination of her technique with my technique together, which is previous was the same kind of thing. So what she had, and when I talked about this, she wanted to make sure that she gave credit where it's due. The breathwork technique that she does is called the Awaken, Owaken, Awaken breathwork technique. And you can look it up, Owaken breathwork technique. And what we did is you do 10 big breaths into the belly, through the diaphragm, through the nose, and exhale out of the mouth. You do this 10 times. Okay. So with a 10-second hold on the 10th one. So you do that breath 10 times. And when you hit the 10th one, you hold for 10 seconds. You do this again 20 times. With the 20th breath, you hold again. Then you do it 30 times. And on the 30th, you hold as long as you can. And now all that energy is inside doing what it needs to do. Okay? Yes.
Put comments. I'm so curious about how many people are familiar or not with breathwork. Because if you're not, it is one of the most magnificent things you can do. You will realize how magnificent your bodies are. Because I feel like in so many spiritual teachings, they want to remove you from physicality. And I think that when you activate the physicality, it becomes really strong. And breath work, for me, is one of, if not the most powerful that activates your body. Like physically, you just all of a sudden you're like, whoa, like this is incredible, man. I got a Ferrari. Like this is a Ferrari always, and it's always ready to go. You just got to fire it up.
Okay, so at this point now you've done the 30th, and now you're holding for as long as possible. Okay. Now this is where I did this. Now at this time, imagine meeting the person I want to forgive in the afterlife during life review. Okay. Now in life review, you're able to review life. So any misunderstandings come clear. So if there's assumptions have been made, right? Things that you've told that partner they don't believe. For example, they just don't believe you no matter what you say. They get to see in life review. Was it true? Were you really being honest? Were you not?
Right.
Everything's on the table in life
Right.
review. You can see it at all from all angles. Okay. So now there's no need to defend your position.
Right.
There's no need to bring proof or say, yeah, you know what? Here it is. You didn't believe me. It's all there in life review. So this is why I met this partner, this person that I wanted to forgive. I met them in this life review place. Okay. And this is what I suggest you do. If you're having a hard time forgiving, you meet him in the life review in this part of the meditation. Okay. Now I want you to first apologize to them for whatever your part was in the relationship because you had something to do.
Always.
So now is your time to open up first and apologize for all the things truly, heartfeltly. Remember, you're meeting him in the afterlife life review. There's no hiding anything there. They saw it, you saw it, whatever it is. Even if you did 1%, it's now on the table. Hey, I'm sorry for the 1%. You know? Then I want you to apologize to yourself as them. I want you to step into them and make the apology to yourself. Hear their apology. Forgive them. Thank them. Say, I love you. Embrace them and let go.
Beautiful.
Again, those steps are apologize to them for whatever your part was in the relationship or situation. Then, as them, apologize to yourself for everything they had a part in. Forgive them. Thank them. Say, I love you. Embrace them and let go. I want you to close the meditation by resonating in the heart and repeating, I am sorry. I forgive you. Thank you. I love you.
Beautiful.
I am sorry. I forgive you. Thank you. I love you.
Whose book is this?
This is no one's book.
No, this is somebody's technique. This is
Okay. So the breath work is the awaken breath work technique. Okay. The second part is my doing. I did that. And the I am sorry, I forgive you, thank you, I love you is a song. And that song, you can play the song if you want to find it. I could probably send a link, put a link in the description, but you can just say the words from the song.
If I am not Hopopono.
Yeah, that's the song.
Yeah. But this is I wish I knew it. I don't know it that well. It's a guy. It's a Hawaiian guy, I believe, that has written this is like his like philosophy. So interesting.
Yeah, that's the song she played. She actually played the song. Dr. Danielle Devine played the song at the end of my meditation to bring me back out. So that's why I made sure I wanted to include that portion.
I wanted to touch on it's Hawaiian shamanic vibration. The part of what Leonard's saying that is really, really big in the process that he's saying is he is visualizing the other person as himself. And I want to bring that out because you didn't specifically mention it. And this is the biggest part of it, that whoever the other is just you.
Yeah, totally.
And so when you do that, then you become wholly responsible for it. At that point, almost the idea of forgiveness just even evaporates because you literally become the holder of all of the space, meaning there is nothing else outside of you. You are the director, the programmer, the creator, the editor, the actor,
the viewer,
the audience, the promoter, the whatever. You become all of it. And so this is the most powerful state because then how would you, there's no way, like it would be as silly as me turning around to my knee and being like, why'd you hurt right now? I hate you. Right? Like it would be that silly.
Right,
We don't say that to our own body. So I love that. I think that that's a great practice. It's really, really beautiful. And the fact that there's so much love in it is really important. You're not making anybody wrong. You are taking full responsibility. You are approaching it with empathy. You are approaching it with love and compassion. And whether you want to believe this or not, because the universe is interconnected, you resonating in that vibrational frequency literally alters the universe.
Yes, yes.
Literally. And guess who's part of that universe? The other person.
The other self. Interesting. It's called other self.
The other self.
Other
Beautiful.
self.
Yeah, other self.
Yeah.
Yeah. So awesome. That's really beautiful.
Yeah, it was big. It was big for me. I'm telling
Really,
you guys,
really
it was
beautiful.
big for me. That's why I wanted to share it with you guys today. And thank you, Dr. Danielle Devine.
Beautiful. Thank you. That was good. That was a good start to season 2. I like it.
There's more.
I like it.
We're almost done.
But wait, there's more.
So you also can do a burning ceremony. Now, some of you did this during the healing and balancing thing that we did here. You write down what you're holding on to, what you refuse to give up, or you write a letter to the other person you want to forgive. And then you set the intention and the purpose for the ceremony, and then you throw the letter in the fire.
Now I know why you wanted the fireplace on.
There you go.
It was for the big finish.
Now, while you're doing that, imagine the weight lifted off of your heart. When the entire paper is burnt, you're now free of any attachment to the feeling of hate, anger, and frustration. So as you watch that paper burn, it is also burning your hate. It's also burning your anger. It's also burning your frustration. And now you are free.
Beautiful.
Now, with that being said, I want to first thank you for listening, but I want to add this, okay? It may not happen for you with just one time. It may take 10 times. It may take 20. But if you continue to work on it, you can get it done. There's a scene in The Shack, okay, where the guy is talking to God about someone who hurt his baby girl. And God says, you have to forgive. You have to forgive this person who hurt your baby girl. I want you to say it. And he really tries. Closes his eyes. He puts his energy and effort to it. And he says, I forgive you. And God says to him, how do you feel? And he says, I'm still angry. And she says, yes, it may take you 10,000 times. Don't be so hard on yourself. It may take a few times to do this, but try it. You're worth it. Okay? Thank you.
Beautiful.
For listening to this piece of the Conscious Code podcast. If you liked it, please make a comment about it.
Very nicely said. And with everything in consciousness, the physical is also a good reminder of that. When you go to the gym the first day, you're not picking up the 100-pound weight. You got to go lift 5 pounds. That guy who's saying it for the first time and he's still angry, it's 5 pounds.
Yeah.
At some point, it gets easier. And by the way, the more you do it, you open neural pathways that will create more and more space and possibility. And you just step out of any of that vibration immediately. It goes out. So really beautiful. I love it. The only thing I want to add is to make this completely internal. It has nothing to do with anybody else. Ultimately, when you get to this part of what Leonard's talking about, the only thing that exists there is the you. Nothing else. All of the universe is you. All of the universe is you. So who are you ultimately forgiving? You're forgiving yourself for even holding on to that attachment to that thought. It doesn't belong to you. Let it flow in the river.
Beautiful. Shall we head to the what's brewing at the point of the show?
Let's go to what's brewing.
What's brewing?
A lot of stuff going on.
Amir? What's brewing these days?
Lots of stuff. Great stuff. I'm like, you know me, I'm always like excited about this stuff because I'm always looking at it in a particular way. Obviously, recently, some flares up of ancient tension has occurred between a hotspot in the Middle East.
A portal exists.
And exactly, we are growing up. Humanity is growing up. And as a part of that grow up, we need to heal our traumas. On the grandest scale, and I'm saying this with utmost confidence, that even if you may believe that the dark forces are causing this, in the grandest scale, this is the most beneficial thing for us to occur because we can bring issues to the surface and heal them. only thing I'm going to tell you is that immediately when this happened, two things that are really big. Go look at and I state this very, very clearly. America has sent phosphorus weapons to Israel, which are literally chemical weapons, which were the reason we wanted to go liberate Syria, was because they did that. And by the way, we found out that the actual people who were the rebels in Syria actually did that, not the Syrian government. What do? So we've given Israel phosphorus. We have given the Palestinians guns. How do we know this? The markings on the shells that are to Israel are American, and the guns that the Palestinians are holding are M4s. The only country that makes M4s is the US.
So the U.S. supplied, according to the sources you have, the U.S. supplied the weaponry for both sides.
There is nowhere else. Literally, the marking on both sides of it is as that. So who's
Of course,
causing
it's
this
like
war?
you think that, right? You think that, and now you have the evidence you need.
Yeah. So who's causing the war? Who needs each other? Look at who needs each other in these wars. And by the way, there's always one that will do well regardless. The military industrial complex.
Of course.
In wars, military industrial complex. In healthcare, pharmaceutical industrial complex. In practically everything else, the media industrial complex. Remember, they are the ones that are collaborating. Put yourself in a neutral state. Every human being that dies is important. Empathy goes out to all.
Absolutely.
But I also want to just say this, that it is important that we begin to heal that trauma that may exist. For a lot of people, it's a very sensitive area on either side of the coin.
Sure.
And until we can literally eliminate the separation between this and that, it's not going to go anywhere. So just move into that state. The other thing I just wanted to mention that I was just mentioning to Leonard right before, it was just really, really hilarious to me, was that like Israel can shoot down rockets that are traveling at, I don't know, hundreds of miles an hour, right? Like the rockets don't travel at like 30 miles an hour. They don't travel at, I don't know either, but I'm guessing they move fast.
Let's just say
very fast. But hang gliders can't be done. It's just crazy, right? Like to me, it's one of those things that just start connecting the dots and see that it is the same ruthless people that are doing the same thing all around our world. And because today's episode is about forgetfulness, we have forgiveness. We have to begin to
not forgetfulness. Forgive and forget.
No, I'm saying forgivefulness, which is not a word, but I don't know why my brain is processing it that way. So part of that needs to go there. Let me move to another part. I'm just going to move my screen so that you see it. CNN reporter is falling down on the ground, and because it was supposedly there was rockets and stuff going on. I don't know if they were in Israel or Palestine, but falls down, and then they have to cut the live shot because there's two guys in shorts just walking by her in a la-di-da fashion. In flip-flops, just hanging out. So remember, these things are a lot staged. They're fear-mongering. Of course, they always do. All of those things. Last one I have today. This is wild. I'm going to show you the screen. I'm just going to go down these so that you can hear them. President's net worth before and after office. Teddy Roosevelt, $1.3 million goes to $100 million. That is an increase of 7,592%.
Well, it's because they get paid, at that time, probably, $80,000 a year for being a president.
Totally.
Yeah, that adds up, right?
They have no influence. What do you mean?
4 years, they went at $80,000. It's
320.
Yeah.
Well, it's close. Just add another 99 million and it's there. Lyndon Johnson, 14 million to 20 million plus 43%, which, by the way, almost any other human being, if they could increase their net worth in a matter of 4 years by 40%, you would be doing cartwheels. So even though his number is low, I want you to keep that in perspective.
Sure.
Richard Nixon, 2 million to 15 million plus 650%. Gerald Ford.
Wait, how long did Nixon serve?
I don't know if he was a 2-term president or the
What do you
thing
mean?
happened during his
They
first
booted him
term.
like right away.
Was it during his
Pretty
first
quick,
term? Okay.
yeah.
I did. Gerald Ford, 1.4 million to 7 million plus 400%. Jimmy Carter, which many think is the least corrupt, 2.3 million to 10 million plus 335%. Ronald Reagan, actually, interestingly, like Lyndon Johnson, one of the lower ones, still a ton, 10.6 to 15.4 million. Barack Obama, 1.3 million to $70 million, an increase of 5,284%. George H.W. Bush, the father, 4 million to 23 million plus 475%. George W. Bush only doubled, 20 million to 40 million. Here's our boy, Bill Clinton, $1.5 million to $241.5 million. Let me repeat that. When he went into office, his net worth was $1.5 million. When he was done with office, after, $241.5 million.
Wow.
A $250 million. An increase of 16,000%.
And he plays the saxophone.
So remember, these people are clearly subject to external forces. And if you don't believe it, the numbers are right there.
You know what's funny is someone said this a long time ago. He says that all the political people, Congress, etc., when they go stand up to speak, they need to wear their sponsors like NASCAR cars wear their
100%.
sponsors.
I've heard that, and I totally agree.
So they could say like Pfizer right on their forehead, and the size of the
patch.
The patch is the size compared to the level of sponsorship. So if, it's just so here's my agenda. Here's the
100%.
agenda I'm pushing.
100%.
So I have a conflict of interest. I'm going to let you know that, but they're never going to do that.
Yeah, and by the way, the other part, if you just are curious about this in terms of doing some research, go look at the heads of various positions. One of the easiest ones for you, actually two of the easiest ones for you to see, is the heads of the financial institutions, private financial institutions, and how they merge into the SEC and into the Fed, and how clearly these position Treasury. It's like a breeze.
Dude, didn't you see the movie?
Breeze.
The movie. So there's a movie with Christian Bale, right? Talking about the previous mortgage crisis.
Yeah.
There's a movie that's about it, a documentary, and Matt Damon is the narrator. And you watch the movie, and it's like a 2-hour movie where they talk about everything that went wrong and how it all went wrong at the last mortgage crisis, right?
Right.
And then it points out throughout the movie like 4 guys or something that were basically in charge of the entire collapse, right? And then at the end of the movie, you're like, wow, okay, at least they found him out. And in the last 5 minutes of the movie, they're like, all 4 of those people now work for who? GOV.
100%. And probably now they're either at Goldman Sachs or JP Morgan or Citibank or any one of those.
They're the Gov.
No, I'm saying, but
afterwards.
Now I'm saying they probably moved back into it.
Anyway,
because that's how they go.
It is what it is. It's an illusion, but here you go. It's just look into it, be aware. Yeah,
just be aware of it. Like, don't
fall into the trap. Don't fall into the trap. That's the key.
Stop. Get out of it. Did I say if they were Democrat or Republican? Does it matter?
No,
it's irrelevant.
Not.
So stop separating yourself. Every human being is awesome. Just let them be in their own space and stop dividing it. So this doesn't matter which side of the aisle they're on. It's irrelevant. Sure. It's irrelevant. Although Bill Clinton's a special one, I think.
You like Big Billy.
Special one.
All right, so let's head out to Spill the Beans. Now we get to discuss the spiritual task that we had from last week.
Yes.
Hold ourselves accountable and reflect on it. And also a new task heading into this next week. So with that being said, the previous Spill the Beans task.
Yeah, if you remember, our last podcast was about order from chaos. And so the task that we had was in your viewpoint, in your awareness at whatever is occurring, are you viewing something as chaos or are you viewing it as order? And if you are viewing it as chaos, can you bring order from the chaos? So this is a really, really important, big kind of thing because it also allows us to move to a different space. Very similar to what we were talking about with you were saying on forgiving, right?
Yeah.
Is that what this does is that it moves you into a space that you can pull out, you zoom out, and you go, what? This isn't chaos. This is orderly.
Right. Like the garden in the shack,
Yes.
as I explained earlier.
I think I said this on the podcast the other week, but I don't remember if I don't. Again, I'm going to use a physical example. When you are on the 405 and it's a SIG alert and you're late and you don't know what to do, the cars aren't moving, you have to go to the bathroom, you're late for this, that person's calling, somebody's honking, it's hot, your car broke down. It feels super chaotic.
You're like, get me out of here.
Yeah, yes. And so physically then, imagine if you literally were up in a helicopter. What would the 405 look like? Just a bunch of cars in order. What happens if you zoom out further? You begin not to see strife. You begin not to see war. You begin not to see everything looks very orderly. Like when you look up in the night sky, do you ever go, man, that's so chaotic? Or you're like, wow, that's so beautiful. So the physical component of this is very, very important that you can physically pull out and go, there's order to this. Nice. So with that, setting it up, because you guys don't know this, but we were away for a couple of weeks. How did it go for you? Did you have any points that you practiced this or?
So I saw a meme that someone had posted. It was basically two people who were arguing, right? It was like a split of the land. The land had like a let's say a crease in it, and there was people here and people there, and they were yelling at each other and disagreeing. One was like, say yes and no. And then it zoomed out and to the country, and it was like they were just together. And then it zoomed out to the world, and it was just like these tiny little dots. And then it zoomed out even further, and it was just Earth. And it was like,
that's right.
I looked at it and I was like, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
You know, it's a petty thing to hold on to.
Yeah.
You know, it's like when you go down the road of a near-death experience, if you've had it, if you've done you know, any of these hallucinogenics or whatever, or there's other ways to do it too. But if you've gone through a near-death experience,
meditation,
sure,
yeah,
you suddenly realize the fallacy of any of those things. You understand that, what was I doing? Who cares?
Right.
You know, if you lose a loved one earlier than you expected to them to live, and you had a fight with them and you didn't talk to them for 6 months or a year, let's say before that, not like all the way at the very end, but even like it was just like towards the end, like you regret that so much because you're like, wow, I missed out. I held a grudge against this person for no reason. I could have enjoyed that company much more.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things, it's so small, it's so insignificant. Even though it may feel so big in the moment and justified, your anger is justified. We just talked about it. If you forgive, if you zoom out, you realize that it's not worth carrying that baggage. Drop it. It's tough, but we gave keys to do it, and it's possible. If other people can do it,
100%,
you can do it.
I think you brought the new task into the old task a little. I'll share with you. I actually had this practice today.
See, he waited. He did his homework in the last minute.
No, I had other ones, but this one, because this one was really impactful for me.
Sure.
It was a conversation that was a big conversation, and going into it, I was like, God, I don't want to do this right now. It's going to get chaotic, and there's so many levels to it, and there's so many layers to it. And as soon as I started speaking, I immediately zoomed out. And it brought the first vibration that came through was empathy immediately. And it was like, no one's wrong, no one's bad, no one's this, no one's that. and immediately it just felt like the flow came back in. And so it was such a power, because it was a really big conversation, very big personal conversation. And it felt as if immediately when the empathy came, when the zoom out comes in, the empathy came, and then it felt the most orderly that I could call it. Like, just beautiful. I don't even know how to describe it. It's like, it's hard for me to even put it into words.
Yeah, it sounds like you, with that zoom out, you changed your attitude and perspective.
Yeah, I'm literally like in chills.
You changed
right
your
now.
vibration, and thus the other party was able to feel that, and it changed the dynamic of the entire conversation.
Exactly. And it put a space of receiving, and it put a space of non-judgment, and a space of healing, and a space of power for all of this to occur. And it's just so powerful when you can, if you can catch yourself. And so many of our practices have to do with this, right? They're just
Yeah, of
slightly
course.
different perspectives of it. But if you can just zoom out just a little and go, this is an order. Let me move with that vibration. And for me, in particular today, what was really, really powerful is immediately empathy came. And when empathy comes, it changes everything. The walls drop, the warmth comes in, possibility lives, healing occurs, and you just feel good. It's just, there's no other way for me to say it. And so,
Beautiful.
yeah, it was really, really impactful. This happened. I had a couple other ones that were there, but this is so fresh, and it
Sure,
was
sure.
so big that I was like, yeah, let me spill the beans. These are freshly roasted beans that we're
Beautiful.
spilling.
They smell great. So that comes to today's task.
Yes.
Now, I do want to add something. As you guessed it, the task is to do this process. Pick one, either the burning ceremony, the pranayam ceremony, or the meditation where you meet this person or the situation in the life review. Choose one of the three and forgive. Okay. Now, I want to add one more thing about the power of this forgiveness is that, let's say you're in a situation with somebody and you can't get through to them, right? And they're not willing to change their position. Just your act of forgiveness alone, that energy goes into the field, and you can be the change
That's right.
that's necessary for things to shift. So your task is to do this forgiveness activity.
Cool.
And like I said, I'm going to talk with Amir after this about doing a day retreat here where we actually do it together. So you'll have some practice, because look, for most people, it takes more than one time, especially
Yeah.
if you've been holding on to it for a while.
Yeah.
With that being said, we're super grateful for you being here on season 2, episode 1.
Woo!
Thank you. Please like, please subscribe if you haven't already. Please share. Check the links below for our Instagram. We have an Instagram now.
Yeah.
I'll also put in some links to Dr. Danielle Devine's Instagram in there, or I'm not sure if she has a website, but if she does, I'll put that there as well.
Yeah.
Ride with us on this next season. We're gonna have a lot of fun, and we're gonna get better. Look, this is our first episode here. You may see some improvements, and you're hopefully gonna see some improvements in the next episode.
Yes.
Thank you for being with us.
Love
We
you.
appreciate you. We send love to all souls. We send love to all souls. Please send love to all souls.
Yes.
Send warmth. May all be well. May all be happy. May all have inner peace, inner joy, inner love, and inner happiness. Om Tat Sat. So it is. Thank
Love you guys. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Love you.